Welcome back to the Terry and Jesse Show. Father Charles Murr here. We're going to talk about suffering. Saint Maximilian Kolbe, one of my patron saints, said there are 3 stages of life. First, your formation, for all of us. Formation, then your apostolate, whether you're a priest, a brother, a married man, a mother, whatever, that's your apostolate. And then he said the 3rd stage for most of us is suffering. And Father Murr, I have noticed, because I would visit hospitals, and I know you as a priest have seen a lot of people suffering, but I've noticed that people who have lived lives about what I call the unholy trinity, me, myself, and I, when they get hurt or they get an illness, they are the most vile people I've ever met. I'm sorry, I've met them. I was in a hospital room where a man was dying with a World War II vet, a friend of mine, and he was cursing God with his last breaths of air for being sick. And it scared the you-know-what out of me. So I'm going to ask you, give us the Catholic perspective. I'm going to give you the air. I mean, Father, you've talked on this over the years, but why is it that people who do not live the faith, that when they get sick, they have this woe is me, it's not fair, and there's cursing and there's just it's bitterness over it.
Well, I've got news for everyone.
Yeah, what is that?
You ready for this?
I'm ready. I'm sitting down.
Life is unfair.
Yeah, there
Life
you go.
is unfair.
Yeah, thanks.
I don't know what is the matter with people. They think it's fair. It's unfair.
Well said.
It's all, look, I'd like to be taller. I'd like to have more hair. I'd like to have better vision. I'd like to be able to tap dance. And I'm not given those graces.
That's funny.
Life is unfair. It's just, it's just crazy. There was a kind of a crazy lady in New York. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to remember her name. She's sort of a street philosopher.
Okay.
And I believe it's Annie Littlewitz or Franny. I get them too. But anyway, she gave a list of what did she call them? She called them the ugly facts of life.
Yeah, that's a good way. Ugly.
And she said, it's better to be rich than poor.
Oh,
it's better
funny.
to be tall than short. It's better to be thin than fat.
Yeah.
It's better to be it's better to be a man than a woman, she said.
Oh, my goodness.
It's better to this. She said, now those are the ugly facts of life. Once you accept them, you're on your way to happiness. You reject them and you spend the rest of your life fighting them. So the idea is get with the program.
Yep.
Just get with the program. There's another thing. Let's go to a spiritual level. You want to go to a spiritual level?
I do, because that's
those same people I have noticed in my priesthood, and I spent a lot of time in hospitals.
I bet you.
I loved going to the hospital. There were a couple of other priests that I met in life who had a panic when they had to go to the hospital. They hated it.
Oh my gosh.
Nobody likes hospitals, and you don't like it, but you go to bring Christ to
Amen.
people. That's likable. Anyway, I spent a lot of time in hospitals, especially in St. Vincent's, the Jewish hospitals in New York, all over Mexico. I loved it. I really did, because I knew who I was carrying to these people. Anyway, and I always had the Blessed Sacrament with me.
Awesome.
I knew that Christ was part of the conversation.
Great.
Here's the deal.
Yeah, tell me.
Here's the deal. It boils down to this.
Yeah.
Either the person you're talking to understands or has a willingness to understand the crucifixion of Jesus Christ, his passion and death,
Yep.
or he or she does not have that. They just don't have it.
Yeah.
Now, let's start by natural experience, reality. If people have suffered in life, generally speaking, they are nicer people.
I've experienced that.
Because they understand the suffering of others.
They have
also.
empathy. They have empathy.
They have compassion. They have compassion.
There you go.
They suffer with. They suffer with. Passion, suffering.
Got it.
They suffer with the other people. And you and I have both met. You just brought up the case of one, but I have met people, Terry.
Tell me.
Then I have a lot of questions for God when I meet him. Hopefully I will, and hopefully soon.
Yeah.
But one of the questions that I've got is, I've met a number of people in life who have lived their lives in a bubble. The worst problem, I'm thinking of someone in particular, the worst problem that this person had was losing his mother when he was 80. The mother was 100. Right?
Yeah.
That was the tragic. That was it. That almost killed him. That
Wow.
almost killed him. Very selfish.
Yeah.
Very selfish, because where there's not suffering, you don't understand fellow human beings. You just don't. You don't understand yourself. But now, if you want to raise that to a spiritual level,
Yes.
it is full participation in the passion and death of Jesus Christ,
Yep.
with hope of the resurrection.
Yes.
You got that?
Yes.
Then it makes sense, or it doesn't. Now, I would like to also go with one of my favorite quotes that I first heard from Fulton J. Sheen. I didn't hear it from the source, and the source is C.S. Lewis.
Yeah.
Sheen always said, I loved him for this. He said, "I only steal from the best."
I love that line.
C.S. Lewis famously stated the following. This is what Sheen quoted.
Yeah.
God whispers to us in our pleasures. God speaks to us in our consciences. But God shouts to us in our pains.
I love that line. Oh, gosh.
It is his megaphone to rouse a deaf world.
Wow.
Let me repeat that. Pain is God's megaphone to rouse a deaf world. And that's exactly what the whole point of suffering is.
Yes.
It is God speaking to the soul. And you know, what's wonderful about the Christian message, as opposed to all other messages in the world, we are the only ones that cannot say, what does God know about my migraine headache?
Yes.
What does God know about my poor condition? What does God know about my suffering? What does God know about my shiverings and my pains and my fevers and everything that's invading my body? What does he know about my weakness? What does God know? God knows everything, because God became just like you to experience all of that.
Wow.
So that you could never ask the question, what does God know? He knows it inside and out. And when we're associated with him,
Yes.
really associated with him, really part of him, we get it.
Yes.
We get the redemptive act. When we understand that, this is why we go back to the other thing, Terry,
Tell me.
of people who are selfish,
Yes.
who are losing out on everything.
Yeah.
Because when we suffer with Christ, we are actually the ongoing crucifixion of Christ in the world.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
This is what does St. Paul say? What does St. Paul say? He said, I'm here filling up in myself what is lacking in the sufferings of Christ Jesus.
Colossians 1.
What does he mean by that?
Yep.
What is lacking in the sufferings
Yeah.
of Christ Jesus? My participation. That's what's lacking.
Exactly.
That's all. When
Well,
I've got that, I've made it. I've made it.
You nailed it. Colossians chapter 1, folks, read it. I want to mention Bishop Sheen also talked about wasted pain in hospitals. And he said that
Yes.
every time he goes into a hospital, you know, he wants to explain to those people that the pain, if they offer it right, and I think this is one of the Opus Angelorum priests who used this, he said, your offering can be like an atomic power plant. It has infinite graces coming from the crucified Christ because you unite that. And I want to quote from our good friend, Father John Hardin, this little book called The Treasury of Catholic Wisdom. And they took Fulton Sheen.
What a man, Hart.
Yeah.
What a man.
What he did is he took all the great minds of the Catholic Church and put it into about a 1,000-page book I have. Here's what Sheen says. Every moment comes to you pregnant with a divine purpose. What a way of saying it. He says, time being so precious that God deals it out only second by second. Once it leaves your hands and your power to do with it as you please, it plunges into eternity to remain forever, whatever you made it. Now, I quoted that. I wanted to quote that today on the radio because every action is like a blank check. If Christ's name is on it, it has infinite value. So when you understand redemptive suffering, as Father just quoted Colossians chapter 1, it's a game changer. Because now you don't say, hey, let's put grandma, let's just give her a shot and put her out of her, pain like we do a dog or a cat. No.
Let me paraphrase that. Let me paraphrase the way the world is saying that. Let's give grandpa or grandma a shot to put him or her out of my misery.
Yes, thank you, Father. If you like the message of Virgin Most Powerful Radio, type in under comments, Jesus is King.